Hey everyone, this is Josh Hayward and welcome to day 17 of 31 Days of Pumpkin. We're over halfway through our series and we're also on day 2 of a mini series within 31 Days of Pumpkin. We're actually taking a look at several different Southern Tier Brewing Company pumpkin brews. Last night we took a look at Imperial Pumking, which is Southern Tier staple pumpkin harvest type brew that comes out every year. Tonight we've got another special one for you. This is the Warlock beer. This is a very popular beer, and it's kind of different from your standard pumpkin ale, which is very exciting. A lot of these pumpkin ales we've taken a look at have been just that, just a standard pumpkin ale. It'll be an amber or a copper or a golden type color. This is actually an Imperial Stout. The Warlock is Southern Tier's take on a pumpkin stout. So very different beer from anything we've had thus far through 31 Days of Pumpkin. I'm very excited for this one. I've had this brew one time before. It's been several years, but this is a lauded favorite in the craft beer community just because it's so different. It's different from your standard pumpkin ale. It appeals to the stout fans and then also appeals to the pumpkin fans as well. So really looking forward to this brew. We've got 2 more for you throughout the week. But yeah, day 17, 31 Days of Pumpkin. It's been a lot of fun, and yeah, looking forward to this brew here already. It just looks like a beautiful beer. I think I poured too much, but I think we'll be all right. And yeah, they actually continue the little Pumking on the back. He's a black pumpkin on this one, though. Kind of neat. So yeah, here we go. Beautiful dark stout. Black as night for sure. Just straight black, opaque, no light coming through that at all. There's a little bit of lightness towards the very top of this brew, and then also towards the bottom. I don't know if you can see that, but it is a deep amber, dark red color there. Just very pretty color. As far as the coloring on this, they've probably used a base malt for sure, which makes up a good bit of the grain bill. But then they bring in some of this darker type malt, special malt, chocolate malt, different things like that. The roast gets darker, and of course the brew gets darker. And something else that I've learned just through my homebrewing adventures, a little bit of dark malt goes a long way. Hence the whole, you can have a relatively lighter majority of your grain, but then a smaller amount of dark grain, and that yet still it makes a very dark beer. But a beautiful looking beer here. Just from the color of it, I'm looking forward to maybe some notes of chocolate, maybe some notes of espresso, dark charred / deep toasted bread. Deep toasted bread doesn't make any sense, but almost like a charred bready type aroma and flavor. And then of course the pumpkin in here, no doubt. So a beautiful looking stout here, just great, kind of perfect for Halloween coming up here in a few weeks. Black as night for sure. Yeah, it's a beautiful brew. I'm holding it straight up to the light, and you can see just a little bit of light coming through, and it gives off a reddish hue to this beer. So very pretty. Let's see what we've got on the nose. Oh, what am I saying? As just giving this a little swirl, you can tell we've got a very kind of a tan head there. Much darker than anything we've had thus far. Everything we've had has been like a white or off-white type head. This is very tan, characteristic of the stout. Very creamy, very frothy. Yeah, just, and as I swirled that, all those fall spice aromas are coming through. Okay, so I'm getting some notes of course, the autumn spices, pumpkin pie spice, I would say, and I kind of say that because it even says that on the bottle. But you can definitely discern that, some of the nutmeg and the cinnamon and whatnot. Also getting some dark chocolate notes, subtle dark chocolate notes. And I'm also getting some of that sweetness that I noticed in Pumking that, again, I kind of liken to lactose. And again, I'm not sure if they're using that in these beers, but when I smell it and when I taste it, that's where my mind goes. It's almost like I have that association now. But it's a a softer type sweetness. It almost reminds me of a milkshake in a way. But yeah, kind of some sweet notes on the sweet aromas on the nose, and then also that pumpkin spice type aroma. So let's see what we've got. Cheers to the Warlock. It's a good beer. One of the great things I love about this brew, and it's so refreshing, and that it's different from everything we've had thus far. And again, 16 days through 31 days of pumpkin. There's a piece of me that's getting tired of pumpkin beers, but this is a welcome change. I'm getting the great flavors and aromas and mouthfeel of a stout, but yet I'm still given that nice pumpkin spice type flavor. Great mouthfeel. It's a lighter type stout, not very heavy, which is nice. Some stouts out there can be rather heavy. This is pretty light. I would medium to light. I would say it was easy drinking. Getting some notes of espresso in there, burnt bread, and it's a pleasant type burnt bread, not a hey, I burned my toast and now my house smells up. No, it's a charred bread, a welcome type bready taste, and then some dark chocolate too, I believe, and it pairs so well with these pumpkin spices. The other thing I really like about this beer is with these darker malts from the stout, you also have some additional dryness and bitterness that comes from those grains, and I'm tasting a lot of that mid sip and then towards the end of the taste. That dryness and bitterness lingers, and it pairs very well with these pumpkin spices. I really enjoy it. Again, too, I'm still getting a little bit of that other kind of sweetness in there as well. Maybe it's the lactose, maybe it's something else that they've added to it. But I wouldn't say it's a malty sweetness. I wouldn't say it's anything from the pumpkin. It's just another kind of sweetness that's present in the brew. If I just having these two so far, I definitely prefer Warlock to Pumking. No offense to the Pumking fans. I really appreciate what they've done with this beer, taking a stout, all the great things we love about a stout, the dryness, the dark notes of coffee, espresso, dark chocolate, some of that bitterness, and then combining it with a very welcome pumpkin fall type taste. It's very pleasant and a great change to all the different kinds of pumpkin beers we've had thus far. If you've had this beer, let me know what you think. If you've had Pumking, let me know what you think about that one as well, and we'll kind of compare and contrast. But I really enjoyed this beer. This is up there, pretty high as far as our 17 thus far. But very good beer. Cheers to Southern Tier on this one. I could drink this one very easily. It's kind of got the best of both worlds for me. The greatness of a stout. Just who doesn't love a good quality stout? But the greatness of a stout with some of the welcome notes of fall in the form of pumpkin spice and pumpkin. So thank you all for following along. Cheers to day 17 of 31 days of pumpkin. Take care.